But now, I started having conversations with, my friends and a lot of people I know, and they really were struggling. A lot of people stuck, like some of them for years, they'd already been an empty nester and they were just stuck, like they couldn't figure out that meaning because there had been so much emphasis and focus on the kids that it was like, how do I shift the focus now? And what do I shift it to? And there's just so.
Where do I go? So it really was almost a feeling of, okay, I've got all this energy. I've been pouring this energy into this purpose,
right?
And now the purpose is kind of going on and growing up, and you've got fascinating kids. We'll talk about them in a little bit, so it's just about trying to redirect that purpose.
I mean, I had women telling me they felt invisible. They felt like they were shrinking. Really, things. And I remember having a lunch with a group of women that I went to high school with, and I hadn't seen them in a long time, and we're getting together, and I asked them what they're all recent empty nesters, and so I'm asking them, so like, what's going on? And nobody could come up with anything. And I was looking at this group of women, and they, like in high school and stuff, like, man, they were like leaders and doers, and they were the captains of things, and like some really did amazing things when I think back at it, of like what they were doing, and the organizations they were leading, and they were like and I was like, okay, everybody come up with like one thing in the last year that's really cool, and there was only one person at the table that can come up with anything. And I thought, wow, that's just sad, because, these women, I mean, they really, to raise these incredible kids that are doing incredible things, it takes something to do that. And they just don't see that worth in themselves. And I was like, I want you to see that you have that worth. I want you to see that you have so much to offer to the world, and that you can, if there is a dream you set aside, you can go back to it. Or maybe there's a new dream, but you have time. I mean, there are so many people, like, you think RVG, I mean, she didn't even become a Supreme Court justice until after she was an empty nester. And then look what she did, the second half of her life.
Yeah.
So we're living longer, and we have so much to offer. And it's like, I just want women to feel that. I want them to see their worth and to be excited about life.
And that's your spark experience.
Yeah, my spark experience is really helping them with that transition to see, how to get twice the meaning, twice the connection, and twice the joy in the in that, as you're going to coming into your empty nest year.
Okay, and that's how you start. I know we met, several years ago, and have been hanging out and been friends ever since.
Yeah.
And so I've actually been fortunate enough to see the spark experience at infancy and how that has grown, and now. You've got that as its own program. It's exploded to now you're doing full on year round.
Right. So now I'm getting ready to launch in January. I'm going to be launching what's called Sparkle, and this is make the second half of your life the best half. And that really came from the desire for these women who want to grow into the future, that went through the Spark experience, and they were saying, we really want to grow into the future, and how do we do that? How do we keep going with this? I wanted to keep going. And, when I was looking at it in my own life and what the things that I've planned, and I think one of the things that we do in society is, the first half of life, we have this societal ladder, and it really tells you what to do, right?
You just check the boxes.
You check the boxes, right? Get a good education. Then you get a job, and you climb the corporate ladder, or you start a business and you become successful, buy a spouse, have some kids, right?
Make sure that they make sure that they go to school.
Right, exactly. So it's like this societal ladder. But what do you do in the second half of life? Where's the plan for that? What does that look like? And so, we're told, when you get to like 50, it's all downhill from now. No, it's not all downhill from now. I know that's common in the United States, right? Is that, elders maybe, it's changing, but it's more common that the older people we kind of put aside or whatever. Where if you look at other countries, they're really the respected elders. They have the wisdom,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what I'm saying. We have so much to offer people. We have so much to offer. And so it's this plan of how to do that. And then the other part of that is we do a lot for wealth planning, right? I mean, I'm sure you've done that, right? You probably have like your estate planning and a financial advisor you work with, and to make sure that part's taken care of. And a lot of people have wills and all this end of life stuff. But what about the living part of the second half of life? And so this is really the sparkle is, how do you make the second half of your life the best, Matt?
I like that. And make the second half the best time.
Yes. Because I really believe that it can be. I'm living proof. I mean, I'm him. It's great right now. Like, I'm.
Tell me, and I know, speaking of great, I know, because we chat on, often, and you took a vacation that was great. When you took your husband out, do you want to share a little bit about that, what you did? Because it was a surprise.
Yeah, it was a surprise. So when he turned 60, I did this complete surprise trip. I arranged it with his work, everything, so that I took care of everything. He had no idea. I packed his bag, and then we took him to the airport. And so the first place we went was Italy.
When did he realize that you guys weren't just going to dinner or going to the 7-Eleven or something?
Not when we got to the airport. We were going to the airport. I was like, okay, here's your ticket.
Okay.
Here's your passport. I was make sure we got that. But he really was like, we're showing up at the airport, and it was like, okay, so, and he was like, oh, I thought we were going to go like for the weekend, New York or something like that. So we went to Italy. We went several places, and it was like every day was he didn't know what we were going to do. So, we were in Rome, we went to Amalfi Coast, Positano, and then we went to Turkey. So we went to Cappadocia. We went on a hot air balloon ride, and did all this stuff. And
how long were you gone?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. So he's like getting off work or thinking that he's gonna, maybe catch a game, or maybe you guys are gonna go to New York for 2 days and a half. Right. And you're gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah. So it was a blast.
Yeah.
To Greece, I mean, it was like planes, trains, and automobiles. We kind of did it all.
Okay.
Even the hot air balloon rides.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, one thing I co-authored a book during my empty nest. So it's like, I was just like, what are things I wanted to do? And I just started doing, but I made a plan. I knew things, and I continue to have that planned out.